Great good morning, everyone. It is a beautiful Wednesday, July 2nd, 2025. 9:07 a.m. is our Cordaro Jewelers time. This is the Bob Cordaro Show, and I am he. Broadcasting today from the United States of America. I can prove it because our president actually loves Americans. It's also the place where the brave, like the veterans we salute today, thanks to our man John Basiliga and his great companies. We lost them this year, but celebrate today. Ronald Royak, Wilkes-Barre Township. Leo Azaravich, DuPont. Robert Griffiths, West Scranton. Richard Weibel, Stroud Township. He was born in Carbondale. Michael Sabatel, Bainbridge, New York, but from Old Forge. Charles Butts, Millville. The United States of America, the country founded with a certain knowledge and understanding by our incredible, irreplaceable, amazing founding fathers, that the government is not, shall not be, cannot be our parent, our guide, our salvation, our direction, not any of these things, but is nothing more than a necessary evil we require to organize and protect society. The United States of America, the country where, for the first time in human history, freedom was declared to be an unalienable right granted to each individual by God. Yes, the individual. It was not something that could be parceled out to groups, and freedom could not be controlled by government or government officials. Our great American Constitution ensured that by codifying freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of association, economic freedom, and yes, freedom of the press. Well, we know what they do with it, but we know better. Now, armed with these freedoms, and only because we have them, a ragtag bunch of immigrants, rejects, and their progeny created the richest, most powerful, most culturally diverse and accepting nation ever to grace our planet Earth. America, the only place specifically invented and designed so that every American can live their life in the manner they choose, unlimited by their background, upbringing, race, color, or creed, unhindered by the government or those who would use government to control others for their own comfort, benefit, or power. This Bob Cordaro Show, well, it'll always be convincingly conservative, lovingly logical, passionately and proudly and passionately patriotic, and reliably right. And so we gavel to order this meeting, today's meeting of the Club for Common Sense, promising you, because of our commitment to common sense, that we will provide a sanctuary of sanity for all of you for the balance of the morning. Now, it's not a safe harbor for stupidity. We will not suffer fools gladly. We just can't. We can't. We don't have time. We love you no matter how foolish you are, but we don't have time. Okay? The way news happens, and it is a function of Donald Trump. There's not a doubt about it. And his amazing administration. There's just so much going on, and then there's regular news. So it's never five to follow. It's many to follow. The big, beautiful bill passed the Senate. They voted down, and this was actually the parliamentarian that caused this. Why that person is not fired? They were hired by Harry Reid, this woman. She's a left-wing lunatic. She's as establishment as swampy as you can get. And she prohibited things like cutting Medicaid off from illegal immigrants. So a vote was required on an amendment requiring 60 votes. They didn't get it. Every Democrat voting against that. They want illegal aliens to get Medicaid to bankrupt it. Do you see what's happening, Democrats? Do you see what your party is doing? It is beyond insanity. It's estimated as many as 2 million illegals are receiving Medicaid benefits. Why? What? I don't get it. I made a note, another of our 5 to follow, or our I just might as well call it our legion to follow. ICE riots and Democrat immigration solution, which they're going to ramp up for the weekend. They're no King's protest. They're just so, these people are so stupid. You can barely talk to them. I want to tell you, if you see someone at one of these protests, not only should you have pity, but watch out, because they don't perceive reality. They could get run over by a bus because they won't see it. And they also think, this is the amazing thing, they think waving the Mexican flag, the country that they're desperately trying to avoid going back to, is the thing to do. You can't make up their stupidity. It's insane. And then Alligator Alcatraz opening today. Listen, these are human beings even when they're criminals. Listen, I was in worse prisons than that. Believe me. So I said, hey, it's clean, it's new. It's better than most of them have been in. It's better than any of their foreign prisons. That's for sure. But Alligator Alcatraz opening today. The New York City mayor race, we keep finding out more about Mamdani. He's a communist. He's a sickening left-wing lunatic disgrace. He will push New York City into destruction. Now, I heard Nancy and Jason talking about the possibility of lone wolf attacks and so forth over the weekend. Well, we're still on watch, I hope, at a really heightened level, cyber attacks by Iran. And we better be focusing on their capabilities in this area. Now, they may not try it because they could be legitimately afraid of Trump. He could take out the Ayatollah, maybe ourselves in Israel, maybe at any time. And I think the Ayatollah knows that, the scumbag. And then there's the Kohberger plea. Obviously, there's local ties. He was from Stroudsburg. Did you ever hear? I mean, I'm hearing the stories, and the reporters are saying, well, Kohberger was on his way back to Moscow, and I think a lot of people assume that he was going back to Moscow, Russia. No. He was coming back here. Now, I have a special sense of this, I think. I would never agree to life in prison. I just wouldn't. I mean, but obviously Kohberger, he's evil. He probably doesn't believe in God. He doesn't believe in redemption. He doesn't believe in a heavenly existence. There's zero reason that you should say, "Oh, okay, I'll live forever." And now he should admit what he did. And the thing that I'm hoping for, I'm praying for, and the prosecution had the leverage to get this done, is that not when he pleads guilty necessarily, but at his sentencing, that he's required to give an allocution, which means he's required to discuss his crimes in detail. That has to happen. Otherwise, I completely understand the anger of some of the families. Now, 4 consecutive life sentences, he's never getting out. There's not much more you can do. I think you guys know I'm against the death penalty, because the death penalty presages no hope. But I would tell you, in a similar circumstance, my plea agreement, if I was Kohberger, would be that I be killed as opposed to spending a life in prison. We're going to follow that. The P. Diddy trial. They tried this RICO thing, which I was convicted of. It's lunacy. There was not one juror in my case that had a clue what the RICO charge meant. A day and a half of instructions in my trial. Nobody knew what they were doing. Craziness. Well, that's what's happening in the Diddy trial. Apparently, 4 of the 5, now 2 of the charges involve taking people through coercion across state lines. And so I think they've got them nailed on those. As I've told you, the case has confused me. They extended the statute of limitations by using RICO. But Diddy may be found guilty as early as today on some of the charges. The judge said, go back and consider this RICO deal. Well, they don't know what the heck you're talking about. How can they go back and consider what they don't understand? But we'll see what results come from that. And then a major thing. And I've got to tell you, and you guys, some of you may disagree with me. I actually feel sorry for Leah Thomas. Now Leah Thomas is a man who decided that he was a woman, which is fine. Adult, go for it. Live your life the way you see fit. But then it's stolen valor. And he won the National Swimming Championships. And all of that's going to be taken from him. And I don't like the focus being on one person who is obviously, has some problems. And so I just don't want it to, I don't want it to be focused on Leah Thomas as much as being the point that for college athletics, for high school athletics, no more biological boys or men in the sports, period. In girls' locker rooms, in girls' bathrooms. No more. Done. Finite. Well, Leah Thomas became the lightning rod, and she is going to have to live with that. But, But a very good ruling. And Penn, my old alma mater, I went to law school there, not undergrad. Undergrad, University of Rochester. Much more proud of University of Rochester than Penn. But Penn has completely reversed. They're going to apologize to all the young women who got screwed by having this biological male participate in their sport, meaning they couldn't participate. Or couldn't participate fully. So a big deal. And next is the Olympics. I'm telling you, I remember watching the Olympic boxing with the biological man fighting a girl, a young woman. I was in pain watching it. I was in pain. It can't be allowed, period. Again, we go back to the transgender issue. Whatever, if you touch a child, surgically, pharmacologically, you're a doctor, you're a surgeon, whatever you are, and you're involved, by the way, a psychologist, a psychiatrist, if you're involved in one of these conversion things, before the child's an adult, I want you in jail. And I mean real prison. And they'll take care of you there. You're scum. But gender dysphoria exists. These people need counseling. They need support. They need understanding. And then they'll be able to make their decision for themselves when they become adults. By the way, not on my tax dollar either. But I think I would love to see Trump's U.S. attorneys prosecuting some hospitals and doctors for performing, I hate even using the words, but everybody understands So I have to. Gender affirming care. It's gender destroying care. Remember everything the left says? The opposite is true. Remember that. Somebody said, judging by Leah's media post, Leah was getting off on all of this. Yes. This is a troubled person. And another one said, he didn't give two flying Fs about anybody else. F him. Okay. Somebody has a text about alligator Auschwitz. We're going to talk about this. We'll take a break, though. Bob Cordaro, WILK. We'll be back. unremarkable when you hear it now, but I'm sure it was a sensation then. Murph says July 2nd, 1956, Buddy Holly released his first solo hit, Love Me. And then, of course, 1881, President Garfield, shot by a guy who wanted a job. Just give him the job, Garfield. He died in September. Guiteau got hung in 1882. At least there wasn't late delayed justice. But yeah, so much going on. All right, so let's talk about, how about alligator Auschwitz? And this is one of the reasons why the U.S. is on human rights watch list. To paraphrase J.D. Vance, Trump is America's Hitler. Okay, so one of the trolls. All right, let me ask you, and I know you won't answer because you don't have one. If a illegal alien rapes someone in your family or sexually abuses one of your children or murders somebody in your family, would you say, well, geez, I would not want him to be in alligator Auschwitz? I mean, was that what you'd say? You sound like a stupid idiot. And do we care about being on a human rights watch list? We don't owe human rights to illegal aliens. We owe protection to United States citizens for their jobs, the level of their wages. We give a fortune in financial assistance and foreign aid to the very countries that these people are coming from. And you don't even want the criminals out. Please face that reality. Your opinions are disgusting, stupid, and make zero sense. Let's have one of your family members or someone close to you affected by these criminals. And somebody says, yeah, that troll doesn't know much about Hitler. I know. And another, alligator Alcatraz has air conditioning. I know. It was 62 degrees in the facilities yesterday. I'm telling you, the irrationality, the stupidity of the positions that are being taken by the left and the lunatics, you can't, really, okay, let's allow the 20 million people, sick, twisted, corrupt Joe Biden let into the country. Let's allow them to roam free. Let's not do anything about it. In fact, these are the same, but they want to keep the border open. Let's let millions more pour in. It's insane. Do you notice the word they use trying to describe the Trump administration? Chaos. When that is, in fact, what they were trying to create? Always remember this. That's what the leftists do. That's what the lunatics do. They say the opposite of which is true, and they accuse you of what they are doing. Yeah. No, I know it's alligator Alcatraz, not Auschwitz. No, this is what one of the idiot trolls said here. That's why I said what they said. Tom from Dallas, gender-affirming care is nothing more than sexual mutilation. Democrats and their constituents not only don't mind you chopping up children, but encourage it and want tax money to pay for it all. Isn't that insane? Like, there's no basis in to any degree of rationality in their positions. None. Oh, let's let let's let them roam wild. This ass wipe mayor potential in New York. We're not going to let them invade. What? You're sick. You're twisted. Insane. As somebody said, Alligator Auschwitz, one of our listeners, it's just good branding. It gets liberals all wound up, but it really is a brand new facility, clean beds, 3 hot meals, air-conditioned rooms. Most of these scumbags would stay there compared to where they're being sent, says Tom from Dallas. You're right. And Bob LTS, is only unsafe if they try to escape. Oh, yeah. Somebody on the other side, foolishness. Oh, man, now that you mention it, it does sound like a concentration camp. Dear Lord. They're not killing them. So you don't know what a concentration camp is. See, they don't know anything, or they pretend they don't, or they forget they do. This is the left. They're willfully ignorant and stupid. Why? I just don't get it. I don't understand the motivation. Why would you want to be stupid? Seriously. Why would you want to be wrong and defend it with all your emotions? I don't get it. I don't get it. Wow. All right, we'll take a break. No more of you today, troll. Sorry. 9:34 is our Picardo Jewelers watch time. We'll take a break. We'll be back. Veterans we lost this year, but celebrate today, courtesy of John Basiliga Hospitality. Yeah, the weekend's coming, and all those great restaurants. Man, I had somebody pull me aside yesterday. They were telling me how amazing the Old Brook Inn is, and it is. And then you got the Far Street Tavern, the reimagined neighborhood bar, and Queen City Tavern, another amazing reimagined bar, downtown Oliphant. Far Street, that's up in the great Trips Park section of West Scranton. A Terra 519, class of restaurants in Northeast PA. Sergey's, right underneath, a cool nightclub. It is hopping all weekend. No cover tonight, or Thursday. Stegmaier Mansion's open. Yeah. Oh, fine dining, from another era. Absolutely amazing. Leo Azaravich. He was 93 when we lost him June 2nd. He was from DuPont, but formerly of Pittston. Preceded in death by his wife of 72 years, Colleen Fry Azaravich. He was born in 1932 in Pittston. He was a veteran of the U.S. Air Force and worked as a truck driver for Consolidated Freightways. He was a member of the Great Teamsters Union. Surviving, his son, Wayne, his wife, Linda, their children. He has another granddaughter and great-grandsons, as well as other family members. Tragically, in addition to his wife, he was also preceded in death by his son, Alan, his daughter-in-law, Diane, his grandson, Stephen. Brothers and sisters, Leo Azaravich. Ronald Royak, Wilkes-Barre Township. He died June 3rd. Born in 1938, he was called Ron the Barber. Devoted husband of Patricia Conwell Royak. The couple would have celebrated their 60th wedding anniversary this October. Ron graduated from Wilkes-Barre Township High School in 1956 and Barber School in Wilkes-Barre, 1966. From December 1961 to November 1967, he served us in the United States Army and the United States Army Reserves. He owned and operated his own barbershop on Scott Street in the great East End section of Wilkes-Barre for 45 years. Lifelong member of St. Mary's Church and Maternity, now Our Lady of Hope Parish, and he did a lot of stuff with that church. Tragically preceded in death by his son, Christian. He's survived by his wife, sisters, and many other family members. Ronald Royak. Our great veterans this hour brought to you by John Basiliga and the great Basiliga Hospitality. That sound means the weather. Storm Tracker 16 forecast from meteorologist Joe Snedeker. Today, sunny and less humid, high 85, maybe the best day of the week. Let's see. Let's see what the rest of the report is. Tonight, partly cloudy down to 63. Thursday, sun and clouds with a chance of showers and thunderstorms. That's Scrantastic Day, high 85. Friday, when all kinds of things are happening, 4th of July, sunny and less humid, so that's the best day of the week, high 81. Got the Rail Riders playing a baseball game. Oh, my gosh, there's fireworks all over the place. And guess what else we have? That's coming up on Thursday. The Abington Rotary Club fireworks display, and it is a great event. How are you, my man?
How's it going, Bob?
Good, good. So, is everything done, or is it frenetic activity to get this to make this all happen Thursday night?
It is constant activity. I'm actually going to pick up light units this morning. We have to light up the whole school and field and everything once the fireworks are over, so that people can get to their cars and they don't trip and break legs, that sort of thing, you know. So.
It's a great event. It's at tell everybody where it's at, what time, give them the basics.
We are at the Abington Heights Middle School tomorrow, July 3rd. Doors open at 5:30. Fireworks usually kick off about 9:30, usually right around sunset. We're going to have a number of food trucks from Mexican to lobster rolls to pizza to smashed patties, candy for the kids, face painting, caricatures, balloon animals. You know, we'll be walking around slinging light ropes and laser swords and all that sort of fun stuff for the kids as well.
Oh, I'm telling you what, you guys, and you've seemed like it's 40 years, and it seems like you've made it better every year, Steve Sillage. It really does.
Well, I appreciate that, Bob. We try and make sure we're really evaluating what we do every year and trying to make it as, happy for everybody that's there. And, and to really make sure everybody enjoys it and that we can run it seamlessly. And after 40 years, I hope we've gotten pretty good at it.
The Abington Rotary, the Rotary Club of the Abingtons is always great, whatever you guys do. So tell me, on Thursday, how do I get there? How do we get to this the school where the whole thing's happening? It's a beautiful field.
You just drive out to the Abington Heights Middle School. There'll be some fire police and everything directing you where to park. Parking is $10. We appreciate that. Obviously, it costs a little bit of money to put the fireworks display on. But they'll tell you where to park once you get there, and hopefully everybody enjoys the show.
And what road is the middle school on?
Oh, it's on Newton Ransom Boulevard.
Newton Ransom Boulevard, which is a pretty easy, it's one of the main thoroughfares up in the Abingtons. Well, this is great stuff, Steve. I appreciate you guys doing this. I know the thousands that'll be there are going to enjoy all of your hard work, and man, it gives you faith in the community that people like the Rotary Club of the Abingtons do these kind of things. It really does.
Well, we appreciate that, and we hope that people come out and enjoy the show. And if anybody would like to learn more about the Abington Rotary Club, they can certainly visit our Facebook page, and we'd be happy to talk to them. Beautiful.
Thursday night, Abington Heights Middle School, Newton Ransom Boulevard, starts at 5, fireworks 9:30, and there'll be food galore. There'll be space galore. Bring your blankets, all that stuff. It'll be a blast. Thank you again for doing it, and thanks for letting the gang that's listening to us know.
Thanks, Bob, and you have a really happy 4th of July.
You too, my man. Thank you. Great stuff. I'm telling you, you think about what they don't have to do this, and it's different too. I'm not down on golf tournaments and all that. I'm just saying it's different. And the cost of fireworks and putting this on and the work they're doing, the Rotary Club of the Abingtons, it's quite amazing. All right, just go there. Go there. You'll love it. I promise you. I've been there. It's great, and it's even better than when I was there. Brought the kids up. It was perfect. Bring your grandkids. Absolutely perfect. All right, we'll take a break. Bob Cordaro, WILK, the eponymous program rolls on after this. Who doesn't try to get to that note? Well, this date, 1966, Murph tells us Frank Sinatra moved up to number one with his hit, Strangers in the Night. You know, I remember growing up, my father always had Sinatra playing. My mother always had classical music. And I resisted both of them and love both of them now. Not just because they remind me of a very fortunate and happy childhood, but it's great music. Got to see Sinatra twice, both times with my father and mother. Once in Philly, once in Radio City Music Hall. Yeah, number one, 1966, this date. Bob Cordaro back with you on WLK. So I whenever I hear a promo for another show, like Sue Henry's we just played, I always ask the bullet, okay, what's our promo? Because I asked him to put them together. And yesterday, I caught him short. He had no answer for me. So now I'm going to call on the Bulldog. Bulldog, what's our promo? Play it for us. Well, I don't know if that's indicative of the show. Is it, Bulldog? A conversation about fireworks with Larry? You figured that, you felt like that epitomized the show. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. None of my vicious observations made the grade. Just my conversation on fireworks. Huh? What? Okay. Well, but if it's about fireworks, is it about fireworks? Oh, okay. All right, we'll see. We're going to play them next week. All right, it's okay for these couple of days. What are we going to have? Best of on Friday? Is that our deal? And we're working Thursday, right? Yeah. All right. Oh, Lord. Okay, well, that'll be difficult for me, but I'll somehow find my way through it. Somebody texted in. This is so funny. They said, Bob, I'm not making this up. All over the internet, the Democrat front-running ticket is Walz and Mamdani in 2028. Oh, my God. Bulldog, you got to find Higgins from, what was it? Tom Selleck. What was he in Hawaii? What was that show? A bunch of you guys will tell me. Magnum P.I. When he would say, oh, my God. You find that for me, because this, oh, my God. Walz Mamdani. This is how far the Democrat Party has sunk. What are you people going to do, you Democrats? What are you going to do about your party? The only one in the entire party who occasionally makes sense, but he's a wolf in sheep's hoodie, is Fetterman. He occasionally makes sense. He then votes like a left-wing lunatic, which is what he is. My God. That's so crazy. Somebody texted in, Bob, this is this crazy person, Mamdani. He wants to arrest Jews. He's the new communist mayor of New York. He's not a socialist. He's an avowed communist. He's the next Hitler, not Trump. Trump's protecting the Jewish people from the person who said on Meet the Press he's going to arrest Bibi Netanyahu. Everything the left says is the exact opposite. Amen. Left is dumb as wood. I, this is, they're really at a point where it's beyond scary. Tom from Dallas says, my wife and I are having a baby this September. Her middle name is going to be Amelia, after Amelia Earhart. How great is that? Somebody said, I think the Bulldog did a fantastic job. Somebody's Bulldog, listen to this one. Love that guy. They're talking about you. You two should do a duet segment of the show. Johnny has such a beautiful voice. Have you heard him sing? Apparently not. Webster used to have him on with Nancy in the morning, and he'd sing once a week. It was ridiculous, but it was funny. But admit it, Bulldog, admit it to me. It was funny how, right? It was funny, like I am a clown, like that kind of funny, right? Now, he'll go along with anything. We got to give Bulldog credit for that. But it wasn't because he had a beautiful voice. Dear Lord. All right. Maybe we're getting a little loose or silly here because we're headed into the holiday weekend and Bulldog's off on Monday. We don't know. But as I look up, I notice that the Baccardo Jewelers, your Breitling, Oris, Longines, Michelle, Shinola, Luminox, Swiss Army Watch Store. The time is 10:01 and 18 seconds. News, Bulldog. He's talking about John Lennon now. And listen to him mention Scranton, John Lennon. Scranton when he was 16. Great good morning, everyone. Well, Cordaro Jewelers, your Breitling watch store, says that the time is 10:08 and 42 seconds on this beautiful Wednesday, July 2nd, 2025. This is the Bob Cordaro Show. I am he, and it's a big day to fight for America, defend our values, and with the help of our man John Basiliga and his incredible companies like Basiliga Hospitality, to honor the brave who have made and kept us free. People like veterans we lost this year, but celebrate this date. Ronald Royak, Wilkes-Barre Township. Leo Azaravich, DuPont, but he was from Pittston. Richard Wabel, Stroud Township, originally Carbondale. John Griffiths, West Scranton. Michael Sabatel, Bainbridge, New York, but he was from Old Forge. And Charles Butts, Millville. So with history, our great founding fathers, and the incomparable Constitution of the United States of America as our guides, let us continue today's battle and gavel back to order this meeting of the Club for Common Sense. So I'm going to, by the way, verdict reached on all accounts in the Diddy trial. It doesn't necessarily mean that he's convicted, but I would say so. It's tough. I don't know what they proved because you couldn't see. I didn't follow the trial real closely. It's not that significant in the big scheme of things. It's just a wealthy thug, bully, being tried for being a wealthy thug bully. And it's going to be hard not to be convicted when they prove what an animal you've been and how you've treated people. And these are normal people in the jury, and they've got to be saying, well, geez, everybody be excited to be in P. Diddy's orbit, but then you get treated like you're a slave, like you're nothing, like you're something to be used. And so my best guess is that he'll be convicted on all counts. We'll see. We'll see. But maybe he gets away on the RICO. but there's significant jail time in the other charges as well. We'll see. It's not important other than to him, and it's not important in the scheme of things. There's no larger theme to it that we say, no. By the way, somebody texting in, starting by saying the Bulldog's not funny, and then be calling me a Republican, and stupid. You're a stupid person. Sorry. And that's funny. They can't. You got to remember about the left. And they're haters. And they've got no defense for that which they support. They've got no understanding of that which they support. They don't even understand it. And then they'll bring things up like Hitler and concentration camps. You could not be dumber. Comparing alligator, what is it? See, that got me saying the other one. Alligator Alcatraz to a concentration camp. You don't even know what you're talking about. You sound so stupid. I don't even know what to say to you. Except I've got compassion, and we've got to worry that you'll get run over by a car or a bus or a truck because you have no clue what you're doing. Anyway, sorry. Somebody said, Bob, any chance we get the Star Spangled Banner rendition from the Bulldog tomorrow? There's as much chance that the Bulldog's going to sing the Star Spangled Banner tomorrow as we're going to get Roseanne Barr to sing it. Okay? Does that give you any idea what chance there is of that? Zero. All right. Charles from Scott Township calling on the Koberger case. How are you, Charles?
Yeah, Bob, good morning. Thanks for taking my call. Talking about him, you're saying about the death penalty. I think he's better off getting life in prison. That way he can think about all the time, locked up in there about what he did.
Oh, I think it's more punishment without doubt. I would never take it. I would say, I will plead guilty and tell you why I did it, but you've got to kill me. I'm not living that way.
Right. Yeah, I know what you're saying. And at the same time, too, God can change him. I mean, he can come in redemption and make peace with God through Jesus,
Correct. That's why I don't believe in the death penalty. There's always hope. There's always hope for that.
Yeah. I mean, Bob, some of the greatest men in the Bible were killers. Look at Moses. Moses killed that Egyptian. David, look what David did. How many people that he killed. And the Apostle Paul, was going around killing Christians, before he got converted. So some of the greatest men in the Bible, and I'm not condoning killing,
excellent point. Excellent point.
Yeah, and God totally gave them total transformation, totally changed them. And, the Bible says in the New Testament, it says, if anyone to be in Christ, they are a new creation. Old things are passed away. Behold, all things are new.
Well, let us hope. I'll say this. One thing, though, I will be extremely angry, frankly, if they don't make him do what's called an allocution, which is explaining his crime and why he did it. And there's indications that they're not going to force him to do that. That's outrageous. That part of it.
It is. I agree with you. He should come right out and just be truthful about it. What made him do it? Now, I think what made him do it is the power of darkness. This man is definitely evil.
Oh, that was the act. The act was so evil to slaughter and by the way, up close and personal, to slaughter 4 bright kids with great futures. Wow. Yeah, that's evil.
Horrible. I mean, once again, back to the Bible, it does explain during the end times that the gates of hell will be opened up and there's going to be more evil. I mean, possibly demonically possessed even, and for somebody to do something like that, It's beyond imagination. You know, I mean, it's just incredible that some would do something like that. It's horrible. It really is.
Well,
it is, Bob. And,
God bless them. God bless them, and certainly God bless the families who are going through a nightmare that I don't think anybody who hasn't gone through it could understand.
It's horrible. It's horrible. Just like all these illegals coming over, these gangbangers, the terrible, horrible way they murder. They cut people off. They torture them. I mean, look at how Hamas did. Look at what Hamas did to those Jewish people in Israel.
Yep.
You know.
But Charles, wait a minute. The Democrat Party says this is horrible. This is a concentration camp. This is Hitler-like to put them in a clean, air-conditioned brand new facility. This is evil, not the crimes they committed. Wow.
And they get 3 meals a day. They got clothes. They got probably going to have a gym there to work out in. I mean, what the heck?
It's a hell of a lot nicer than some of the prisons I was in. I tell you that much.
I know these Democrats. I heard that. I saw on Fox News they were showing a clip of Joy Reid going on. Oh, look at her. She is such an idiot. These
struggling for relevance, but a dumb person. Very dumb.
Oh, I mean, look at the ladies on The View. I never see such stupidity. Just idiots. I mean, these people are totally stupid. They're stupid. and they lie, too. They're liars.
Well, you can't avoid it. You're lying about reality, truth, and fact. You have to be a liar.
It's incredible, Bob. I'll tell you what. It's amazing. But anyways, thanks for taking my call. Have a good day. God bless.
Thank you. And Charles, a good point. He could reform himself. He could discover God. He could discover goodness out of this extreme act of evil. But again, that's why I'm for the death penalty. But for me, if I was facing a lifetime in prison, the only way I'd plead guilty was if they put me to death. Yeah. Somebody said at least at the alligator Alcatraz, they will be fed. Where in the concentration camps, they were not. They also will not be gassed. They also will not be tortured. I mean, there's not even a comparison. Anyone who compares it is sick or stupid or both. Period. Somebody questioning when Charles says it was an act of pure evil. Are we back in 1692? Well, how could you say he wasn't influenced? I believe in the devil. How could you say that Kohberger was not influenced by the devil? Seriously. There had to be a dark, deep, dark evil that engulfed him to commit this act. There had to be. I don't know what people get squeamish is maybe not the right word, but they become dubious when God or the devil enters into the conversation. But both are very real. I mean, you just have to see an act like that. You have to see Hamas slaughtering 1,200 Israelis, kidnapping hundreds more on October 7th, 2023, to just know there's evil in the world. Who's behind the evil? I don't think anyone could doubt that it's a devil or some monstrous evil force that overtakes people when they do things like this. Somebody texts in, it's amazing. Kohberger wasn't afraid to kill 4 young kids, but is afraid to die himself. He won't make it past 2 years in prison. They'll kill him. How many hardcore prisoners had sisters, daughters, mothers murdered? They're going to target him. Life in prison is better. But let me say this. If he had murdered children or he had molested them as part of his act, then I'd agree with you that he'd be killed in prison. In his case, I don't know. I don't know that he'll be targeted. I really don't. I'm not Mr. Expert on prison because I was there, but I was around it long enough, both as a lawyer before I went to prison and while I was at these 11 different prisons, to get a sense of what they react viscerally to. And here's the thing, the fame of him, his fame, may have some lifer want to take him out. Because then they're famous and they're relevant, which is that's the worst part about prison. You're irrelevant. It's interesting stuff. That was Mark from Duryea, by the way. Thank you, Mark. Well, we got to take a break. Sean Diddy Combs found guilty on 2 counts. We'll find out which ones they are. So, a discerning jury. Fascinating. We'll take a break. We'll be back. Bob Cordaro, The Eponymous Show. We roll on. Tommy James and the Shondells. Yep. They moved from number 15 to number 6, Murph tells us, with their hit Hanky Panky, this date 1966. And LBJ, the odious one, well, he did something good. He signs into law a sweeping civil rights bill passed by Congress in 1964, and it wouldn't have passed without him. But by the same token, it probably would not have passed without JFK's death. So even a basically bad person can do something good. So let's look at it the positive. Hey, Mother Teresa, St. Teresa for July 2nd. She said, God created the whole world, but he is our Father. The Father loves me and you. The tenderness of God's love, no one can love us as God. He made us. He is our Father. Amen, Mother Teresa, St. Teresa, thank you. Thank you, Mary Regina. Somebody texts in, evil takes many forms. The devil walks among us. We need more prayer in the world. What a sad state. Another, those were children. Those kids had their whole lives ahead of them. He gets what he deserves. Yep. Not a problem. You know what I mean? Life in prison, I'm happy to be against the death penalty. Now, apropos of what, I'm not sure, but somebody said it's interesting to me the high moral standards some are held to while others are given every excuse. That's the human condition. That's why our law and our laws and our exercise of those laws needs to be unbiased. That's why the woman holding the scales of justice has a blindfold. Important. All right, Bill from Pittston. How are you, my man?
I'm doing good.
Mind you got a theme song. You got to get used to it.
Oh yeah.
you got to let it set in. All right. What's happening, Bill?
Yeah, I just read something in the paper today about Lindy Lai. She was raised fundraiser for the Democrat Party, had a ringside seat when Joe finished the debate, and Jill said, Joe, you answered every question. Anyway, she contends under testimony yesterday in front of Comers, I think it was yesterday, that Jill Biden was calling the shots and Hunter, but mostly Jill, that Jill made the decisions and she was in the position to see that Joe was out of it. And Jill, her ego was just so big that she had to take control.
Well, and see, these are the kind of things that happen, Bill, when you say, well, we can't let Hitler be president. Even though Joe Biden, with his open borders, the sex trafficking, all the things he did allowed more evil to happen than anybody could even imagine. And they're just starting to admit to it.
Yep, we're going to find out a lot more about how deviant he really is. Like I said, he wasn't really a family man. He's I'd say, and I put him in the category with that guy the college murderer. They're melomaniacs. They're narcissists to the nth degree. And Joe Biden was, and Jill too. It's just the way they are. Their own ego is more important than anything else.
It's interesting. I mean, it was the most expensive nursing home care in the country, and you can justify and rationalize that in so many ways, which is what the Bidens did. But like, Joe Biden never admitted to his criminal past either, and it was so obvious and it was so blatant. It was remarkable. We've never had a guy as corrupt as him. We've never had a president as stupid as him. We never had a president as incompetent as he. And yet, he had himself convinced he was doing a great job.
Great job. Yeah, that's what I mean. A narcissist. And nobody else counts. Nobody else is, unless it's Jill, an extension of his own ego.
And Bill, tell me if you agree with this, because this is one of the things that it didn't bother me the most, but it indicated the most about the Bidens. When their two dogs, not just one, kept biting the people who were serving them and protecting them. Kept biting and viciously biting Secret Service agent, staff, one after another after another. Their lack of concern for something that, well, small in a way, indicated that they were scum to me.
I agree 100%. And as I told you, the dogs somewhat have a tendency to take on the personality of their owners.
Yeah.
And I'd say and I told you the one time Joe was in Scranton, the Secret Service guy said if they took the dog bit more Secret Service agents than was reported. And if they put it down, they put a new dog in place, Joe wouldn't even notice.
Yeah. Sad stuff. All right,
You
Bill.
know that Joe.
Go on.
Oh, okay.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just going to say that when Joe was courting Jill, her ex-husband wrote a book that the Bidens did everything to repress. I tried to get it. I read excerpts. But they threatened him. Joe's brother threatened physical harm and all kinds of stuff if he gave Jill a rough time about it. So they are gangsters.
Oh, they're not nice people. They're not by any stretch. It's all fake. Yep. They're nice when they're on top and you are subjugate yourself to them. That's all. That's the Bidens.
Yep.
Thank you, Bill. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. I look up at the clock and I see to myself that according to Cordaro Jewelers, your Breitling watch store time, it's 10:33, 45 seconds. We'll be back with the Veterans Tribute after this. Our veterans, two men we lost this year but celebrate this hour, courtesy of John Basiliga and Basiliga Hospitality. Richard Weibel, he was 79 when we lost him May 31st. He was from Stroud Township. He was born in Carbondale, graduate of the great Benjamin Franklin High School, and then the University of Scranton. He proudly served his country in the United States Army. After his discharge from the military, he continued working for the Department of Defense with assignments that included Fort Knox, and then he began working in federal service at Picatinny Arsenal, New Jersey, where he fought to keep it open. Richard moved to Monroe County in 1980. He was an active participant in the local Republican committee and volunteered his time with the American Cancer Society, Relay for Life, United Way, and the Pocono Mountain Youth Soccer Association, which he helped found. He's survived by his 3 children, loving grandfather to 5 grandchildren, and survived by his former wife, Margaret. Richard Weibel. Robert Griffiths, the youngest of our veterans that we lost. He died at age 66, June 1st. He was from West Scranton, a devoted husband, father, grandfather, and brother. His dedication to service extended beyond his family. He proudly served with the Seabees and the Naval Reserve. His professional life was as a landscaper, maintenance worker at Scranton Housing Authority. Prior to that, he was a welder and fabricator at Elliott Company. Growing up, he attended Jackson Street Baptist Church, where he met the mother of his children. His family says Dad was always a man of his word. He's survived by those 6 children and 12 beloved grandchildren, as well as other family members. In addition, he leaves behind Diane Kermachi, his significant other. Preceded in death by his cherished late wife of over 3 decades, Gina. Robert Griffiths. Our great veterans this hour brought to you by Basiliga Hospitality. Hey, maybe check out the Stegmeyer Mansion on South Franklin Street in Wilkes-Barre tonight. Amazing. That's all I have to say about it. Storm Tracker 16 forecast from meteorologist Joe Snedeker. Today, sunny and less humid, 85, so a great day. Tonight, partly cloudy, low 63. Thursday, sun and clouds with a chance of showers and thunderstorms, high 85. Friday, the 4th of July, sunny and less humid, 81. So it's going to be gorgeous for the holiday, and it sounds like a pretty good weekend. This afternoon, Cutie and I are going to go up to Montage. A great guy, but a great veteran. A friend to so many by the name of Garth Estat. He died back on June 27th. And they're having a service for him and a little remembrance celebration. He was a West Point guy. 1988 graduate there. He played for the Army football team. He was an artillery officer, and then he chose to join the U.S. Army Special Operations. He was a Green Beret. And I have a shirt he gave me. I told you about this at one time, never expecting he'd pass away. But he gave me this shirt for his unit. I said, Garth, I can't wear this. I never even served. How could I? He assured me you can. He said, because, first of all, because I want you to, but second of all, it's good to do it. It's okay. So I'll be wearing his shirt today. So anyway, back to the Diddy trial. Now, he's probably going to get 10 years. Many may have grounds to get out of it. What I gleaned from the evidence and from the accusations, rather, let me be more accurate, from the allegations was that he was taking people across state lines and then coercing them, but they were having sex with him and others at P. Diddy's behest. And that's what he's basically, he was a pimp. That's what he got convicted of. I was in prison with some pimps, and that's exactly what they got, was 10 years. Nice enough guys. As I always said, even about the murderers, maybe they got it off their chest. So I see a 10-year deal. I see a 10-year deal coming for Diddy. We'll see. We'll see. He's, what has he got, about 7-8 months in? But not guilty of the other more serious charges, including the RICO, which I thought was a real stretch. And there it is. I'll tell you that I think this jury was very discerning. You can't convict someone of specific crimes because they're a bad person. So the justice system worked in this case. Somebody asked Robert Griffin, where was he from? It's Griffith. Robert Griffiths from West Scranton. Robert Griffiths, somebody asked. Now somebody says, what a crock. I'm disagreeing with you here. That he was found not guilty on the most serious counts. I don't think they had the goods. And again, because someone's a scumbag doesn't mean they're guilty of a federal crime. And P. Diddy is a scumbag. He's an awful person. He's a bad person. But this jury sat there, and I don't know, from the outside, it appears that they deliberated very wisely. And you know what's interesting, too? And maybe we've turned the corner. I really haven't heard a lot of, he's because he's black and he's blah, blah. I haven't heard a lot of that. Now, the one thing that I do believe to be true is that if he wished to do it, and maybe he will now, he could have brought a lot of people into the party, a lot of celebrities. We'll see if that happens yet. But that's the deal. P. Diddy guilty on 2 counts. And there's some people acting out in front of the courthouse, but, no big deal. So he's in Brooklyn. He'll go back to Brooklyn tonight, a convict. And, I was in Brooklyn 3 different times. It's not a nice place. I admit that, but I wasn't there crying and weeping like Diddy was. I'll give myself some credit for that. All right, well, as I look up at the time, the Cordaro Jewelers watch store time, it's 10:46 and 17 seconds. We'll be back. This date, 1969, vocalist and guitarist Leslie West and Felix Pappalardi formed the group Mountain. Murph picked Mississippi Queen from their selection of music. And, of course, before that, death penalty, not inherently cruel or unusual, and therefore you can kill away. This date, 1976, according to the U.S. Supreme Court. 7-2 vote. And I can't disagree with it, even though I'm against the death penalty. Somebody goes, hey, Bob, would you rather be in Alligator, Alcatraz, or the prisons you did time in? Alligator, Alcatraz would probably be in about the middle. Probably about the middle. I was in 11 different prisons. And I count the whole, which I over my time, 8 years, 5 months, I did about 6.5 months in the hole. I would take Alligator Alcatraz over USP Canaan, which is right here in Northeast Pennsylvania, up in Waymart, by a mile, every day and Sunday included. Probably take it over Brooklyn because you're not outside. Probably take it over Philadelphia Metropolitan Correction Center. Because you don't get to go outside. I would take it over those. So, the hole at Otisville? I'd take it over the hole at Otisville. Yeah. I'd take it over the hole at Fort Dix as well. So, yeah, it's somewhere in the middle there, Alligator Alcatraz. Believe me, it ain't that severe of a prison. It's in terms of physical facilities. You're going to be with animals. That's another story. But that's always part of it. That's always a component. All right. Well, somebody said at the beginning of the show, would you please take a call from Frank? Well, I didn't respond because I said, well, he's got to call first. Well, he's got 2 theme songs himself. Stevie Wonder, Superstition. And we may not wait till the words, but you keep playing it, maybe lower it when I pick up the blower. When you believe in things you don't understand. It's Superstition. We might as well get to the punchline, right? Isn't it a great song? Think of the music. Frank's got a good theme song. And here's Frank from Wilkes-Barre. Hi, Frank. How are you?
Good. How you doing?
Good. You got a second theme song now. I hope you're happy with it.
Yeah, they don't bother me.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, they're not supposed to bother you. They're supposed to honor you.
Oh, they honor me. Yeah. Okay, yeah. That's good. I thought you were talking about that they were going to touch my Medicaid or Medicare.
Correct.
How come they're doing it?
Well, that's not it's false, Frank. They're giving a 6% increase in Medicaid.
No, you're not.
They are, Frank. Anybody else that says anyone that says anything opposite that is lying. From the bill, from the bill itself. Well, no, for Frank, but you never know what you're talking about, which is essentially the same thing, because you don't care if you're wrong. You just repeat.
I care a lot.
No, you don't.
I care. People I talked to never said that. I'm just telling you what I heard from a man that worked at Social Security for 40-some years. He read the plan. I mean, I could be wrong, I guess, but...
Well, you are wrong. You are wrong. It increases 6%. They were trying to have it increase 12%. And Medicaid has exploded because of illegal aliens getting it.
I heard
It's
that too.
it's exploded to
no
hundreds of billions of dollars beyond what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, I heard that. Everybody can't prove who they are, though. That's something.
Well, sure they can. If you're not a citizen, you're not a citizen.
They're going to have a lot of problems. How come I got to go report and sign up twice a year for my Medicaid?
Well, you have Medicare, right?
I got Medicare and Medicaid, yeah.
Well, you probably don't have Medicaid. You probably have Medicare.
Medicaid, I have to sign up, verify my name and everything twice a year.
Okay. And what does that mean? How does that relate to what we're talking about?
Well, how come I got to do that? I don't have to do it now. What do I got to verify my thing? And there's no grace period.
Well, we got to make sure. We got to make sure there's not fraud. There's in the local newspaper, in the local rag, there's Medicare fraud going on right here in Northeast Pennsylvania.
Yeah, probably Republicans. How about that senator from Florida?
Huh?
He's not only the senator, I forget his name. he pleaded the Fifth Amendment, his biggest scam bag.
Who?
I forget how. This is a senator from Florida. He's a bald guy. He wanted to run for president, so I forget who he is.
It's
but
not.
Twice a year, I got to verify.
Senator Scott?
If I make a mistake with my thing, I got to go.
Senator Scott?
Trying to figure it out.
I never heard that, but I don't even know where that's from. Senator Scott from Florida is pleading the Fifth on something? What?
That's Scott, the bald guy? Yeah, I seen it with him. Yeah, well, his company got sued for, what? What's the matter with you? Where are you at?
That's Biden.
Am I talking to you?
That's your buddy Biden telling you no.
What are you picking on Biden? I can tell you something he can tell you.
Because he's a criminal, corrupt scumbag.
Yeah, you know he had two abortions, too. You're a clown. He's a son. You were in prison for 10 years. $320,000 it cost. You're the scumbag. You have Teresa on there, and then you go call a person a scumbag.
Well, Jackie Gleason says so, Frank. So you gotta go. Jackie Gleason says so. And as I look at the Picardo Jewelers watch store time, it's 11:03. We'll be back after the news. Great good morning, everyone. Bacardi Jewelers, your Breitling, Oris, Longines, Michelle, Shinola, Luminox, Swiss Army Watch Store. Tell me that the time is 11:09 and 23 seconds. This beautiful Wednesday, July 2nd, 2025. This is the Bob Cordaro Show. I am he. And it's a big day to fight for America, defend our values, and with the help of our man John Basiliga and Basiliga Hospitality, to honor the brave who have made us and kept us free. People like the veterans we lost this year, but celebrate today, like Michael Sabatel, late of Bainbridge, New York, but he was from Old Forge. Charles Butts, born Berwick, late of Millville. Robert Griffiths, West Scranton. Richard Wabel, Stroud Township, but he was from Carbondale. Ronald Royak, Wilkes-Barre Township. And Leo Azarovich, DuPont, but he was from Pittston. So with history, our great founding fathers, and the incomparable Constitution of the United States of America as our guides, let us continue today's battle. Gaveling to order this meeting of the Club for Common Sense, promising you that through our commitment to common sense, we will provide a sanctuary of sanity for the balance of this hour. And we will not suffer fools gladly. I mean, we just can't do it. There's no time. And we love Frank. Rodney wants us to all chip in to buy Frank a new phone so we can understand him. I understand him clearly. Rodney, I'm sorry. And it's just this visceral pro-Democrat party, no matter what, right, wrong, or indifferent, and anti-Trump. It's TDS at its highest and worst level, but we love them. So we let them come on, but we don't let them come on unscathed. It just wouldn't be right. Somebody says, what employer is going to say, yeah, we'll hire you at 20 hours a week? Not one will. Is Trump false marketing to sell his big, beautiful bill? He might cut off some illegals, but he's also going to cut off people who are legitimately on Medicaid and Social Security benefits. Mark from Duryea. That's not accurate, Mark. Because if you can't get a job, and by the way, I could go get a job at McDonald's tomorrow for 20 hours a week. And by the way, that's the minimum. That means if you get a 40-hour-a-week job, that qualifies. You're just looking at it completely wrong, or you have been consumed by the left-wing lies, the Democrat Party lies. No, and by the way, if you can't get a job, all you have to do is volunteer. Who's not taking volunteers? A minimum of 20 hours a month. Able-bodied, single, non-caregivers to children. And seniors, by the way. If you're single, able-bodied, with no dependents that you have to care for, and you have got to prove it, the most you have to do, the least you have to do, is 20 hours of volunteer time per week. You're going to tell me now that people wouldn't take volunteers? It means you got to get off your ass if you want something for free. So you're not correct. You're wrong. But I will tell you this, I'm happy you asked. I'm happy you asked, Mark. Because these kind of things, when you just go, oh my God, the cuts. There is no government, certainly not the federal government, and not Pennsylvania, that has actually cut spending. That just doesn't happen. And when you go to reduce the growth of something that's spiraling out of control like Medicaid is, then you get the lies that the Democrats are telling. Don't fall for the lies Democrats are telling, Mark. You're too smart for that. So again, it bears repeating. if you are single and able-bodied and you're not the caregiver for a sickly parent or children, you've got to go and do 20 hours, a minimum of 20 hours a week. And there's a misinterpretation you started it with there, Mark. You can go work 40 hours a week. You can work 80 hours a week and still get Medicaid if you're now entitled to it. But you're not going to play the system, these people. You're going to do something to get Medicaid if you're single and able-bodied. And that might be as little as 20 hours of volunteer work. Now, please tell me anyone. I can pick 10 charities now. Go to your local United Way. Go to your local soup kitchen. I'll give you 20 hours a week. You know how fast they'll say yes? If there's nothing wrong with you otherwise. In about 10 seconds. Bob LTS not sold on the volunteer thing, though, because you ever work with someone who doesn't want to be there, they can become more of a hindrance than a help. But, yes, something has to be done, says Slick. It's person dependent. So guess what? If you're going to go and be loathsome and not do the volunteer work properly, and the soup kitchen sends you home because you're a goof, you don't get Medicaid. Tough spit. Come on, we and I'm not talking to you on this one, Slick. Come on, stop it. Doug says, I'm 63 and just got put on Medicare and I'm on disability. Will I get cut? No. There's nothing to do with you. Don't let these people scare you. There's adjustments to all of these programs. They have nothing to do with this. Nothing. It's a lie. And we ain't falling for it here. The House is debating the big, beautiful bill. By the way, I'm going to tell you how petty. Chuck Schumer, not only did he delay the passage of the big, beautiful bill, he, through some parliamentary maneuver, he got the name erased. So it passed the Senate not as the big, beautiful bill, but as something else. This is what the Democrats are reduced to. Please tell me that's not scary. Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House, just said the bill's almost at the finish line. I think what's going to happen because of the parliamentarian in the Senate who didn't allow the amendment regarding taking Medicaid off of illegal aliens, they're going to have to probably do it by executive order because it's not in the bill that came back to the House. We'll see what happens. Anyway, let's go to Angelutz from Madisonville. How are you, Angelo?
Hey, buongiorno. C'è l'una mezz'amara.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. Listen, I just got to tell some of the listeners out there, instead of jump to conclusions and getting all frustrated, why don't they call in and get the facts, man? Just the facts. You know what I mean? Like, that's all they got to do.
Well, see, and here's the sad part. They think they're getting the facts from PBS and CBS and NBC and ABC. I mean, we grew up that way. And they haven't changed and realized that they're lying to you for an agenda that has nothing to do with your benefit. And they don't realize it yet. So they're listening to this, or some idiot Democrat will come out and lie, or somebody on the radio or television, and then they fall for it. You know.
Yeah, I just want to tell you that Sandy Johnson and her husband, I'll tell you what, and Paul and all of them, they listen to you. They love the show. And They're from Springbrook. They called in a few times. You know what I mean?
Well, hey, shout out to all the Johnsons.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're good people. You know, I worked for their aunt and, Dean and all of them. You know what I mean? You know what, though? I called in, and I'm out here by Kay's Coffee Grind in Dillville, and it's so beautiful I don't even feel like going inside. I mean, it's the weather's nice. It ain't raining. And I'm listening to the radio on the app. I hope people know how to get that app. You know, when I was down there to see you and everybody else, you just left. I just missed you. Matter of fact, I think you waved to me when I was pulling in. But what's his name? Jay.
I didn't know it was you. I was probably just waving. If I knew it was you, I would have stopped.
Yeah, and I looked at you and I waved and I said, "Nah, he don't know who it is." But I'll tell you what, this Sunday coming up in Dunmore, they're having that music fest again. They're going to block off Drinker Street again. I hope people know that. I was there last Sunday. Geez, I'll tell you what, I was sitting by two brothers there in the shade.
Yeah,
looked at all the people, and it was amazing. They had a great country western band. And
did they? I didn't know that. How about that?
Yeah. First, there was a dude that played by himself, acoustic, and he played top 40 and some country. But that country western band, I don't know where they were from.
It reminds me of the Blues Brothers. They stop in this backcountry bar. And they go, well, what kind of music you got? We got both kinds, country and western.
Yeah, I remember that. I'll tell you what, I worked on the railroad. I went from Scranton to Netcong, New Jersey, and from Scranton to Syracuse, and I always had my guitar. So, like, some places I'd stop and they'd say open mic. So I jump in there and play a couple songs, and the guy goes, he goes, what kind of music you play? I said, I play antique country and antique rock. He said, wow, I've never heard of that. I says, well, I'll play a couple songs. You tell me, okay? But I play open mic once in a while up here at Kay's.
Oh,
and then I have, Robbie Walsh comes. He's from Crimson Tears.
Yeah.
He played with Chubby Checker. You know him.
Yep. He's famous.
I'll tell you what,
I don't know him, but he's famous.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But you know what? He's as humble as can be. Good Christian man.
Well, Chubby remembered him, mentioned him when I interviewed him. Not even the first time and the second time I interviewed Chubby.
Yeah. Well, he's a phenomenal guitar player. Yeah. Phenomenal. Yeah. Last weekend down at the Elmhurst Picnic, his band played Crimson Tears. It was like a rock concert with the smoke and the lights and the sound. And oh man, it was great.
I don't know if it'll be the rest of my life, but I still get the heebie-jeebies about going to picnics and all this other kind of thing because it feels like I'm campaigning again, and I just say no, I can't do it.
I feel the same way. I feel the same way, and I ain't campaigning for nothing.
Yeah,
you know. I knew everybody. 80% of the people. Sunday, and don't forget, I was living in Dunmore half my life, but it was awesome, and I seen some of my relatives, some of your relatives, and there was the good, the bad, and the ugly there. And
it's a great that Dunmore Music Fest is great stuff. I'm happy to know it was this Sunday because I didn't know that.
Yeah, you got to come down, man. People listen to you. They say, I hear you call in once in a while. What a great show. I said, well, you know what? Grow some you-know-whats and call in and tell them that. You know what I mean? You graduated with them. Call in, And I don't know. They just don't want to go on the air.
I don't blame them. I
could go right to the Metropolitan Opera, walk on stage. I wouldn't be afraid. I don't care. You know what I mean? I'm an Italian American. I'll belt out an aria that they'll never forget.
Well, Angelo, always a pleasure, my man.
Okay,
you have a great 4th of July.
Yeah, LTS.
Maybe we'll see you on the road. LTS, man. Angelo from Madisonville. We'll take a break and be back. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. Yeah, we had to play that. Bill Conti. And they get you fired up. The number one hit with Gonna Fly Now, the theme from the movie Rocky. This date, 1977, Murph tells us. We were going to finish with that, but I think you'll like what we're finishing with just about as much. Bob Cordaro back on the eponymous program. As we head towards the bottom of the hour here, somebody's asking, I wonder if Trump will pardon P. He was throwing his name around. I think, you know what? I'll be angry at him if he does. Because I think he's going to get 10 years, and he deserves it for the abuse that he meted out to various people. Possible, and he wasn't even charged with this, what is it called? Sexual, not molding, but I blank all the time anymore. But anyway, grooming, sexual grooming of young people. And he's a consistent scumbag. And if they found he crossed state lines to effectuate prostitution, essentially, paid sex, well, he's going to get his 10 years. And I just hope Trump doesn't get in the middle of it. And I don't think it'll benefit Trump, by the way, either. Joe from Trips Park texted in. He said, I wanted to meet other callers for a while now. We should all wear matching T-shirts that light up like fireflies so we can find each other at these events. Well, we're going to do T-shirts. I got a good suggestion from one of the listeners. I just haven't been able to follow up on it. Because I can't afford to go out and make 1,000 T-shirts. So I've got to find somebody, and I may have, through one of our great listeners, found somebody who could do, 1, 2, 3 at a time. And we'll see what happens. Club for Common Sense T-shirts. That'd be nice if we all had those, right? Somebody texts in, tell Trump to pardon Larry Vickers, first SFOD Delta veteran. I'm not familiar with his case, to be honest with you. Larry Vickers. Okay, I'll keep that in mind. But I don't have anything to do with it, by the way. I can't get myself pardoned. I'm not trying, I admit that, but still, I can't get myself pardoned. Hey, so Bacardo Jewelers, your Breitling, Oris, Longines, Michelle, Shinola, Luminox, and Swiss Army watch store tells you that the time is 11:32 on the dot. We'll be back. our veterans this hour and every hour, this day and every day. Brought to you by John Basiliga and his great family of companies, including Serenity Care Personal Care, Eastern Roofing Systems, JBAS Realty, commercial and residential. And as we head into this festive weekend, we must keep in mind Basiliga Hospitality. Some of the best spots you're ever going to find. Old Brook Inn, 307 Springbrook Township. Far Street Tavern in the great West Scranton neighborhood. Far Street. Atera 519. They'll be open tomorrow night. They're off tonight. But guess what? Fine dining. The Stegmeyer Mansion in Wilkes-Barre is open. Transport yourself to a better time, a great time. And then, of course, Queen City Tavern, downtown Alvin. Mary Regina said it was great. She was just there. And I was there with the Bulldog. It was fabulous. And Sergei's Live, the nightclub starting tomorrow night. Our veterans this hour. Michael Sabatel. He died June 3rd. He was 86. He was living in Bainbridge, New York. But he's from Old Forge, PA. He was preceded in death by his dearly loved wife, Carol. Her name was Stoltasik. Back in 2023. They'd been married 62 years at the time of her passing. 3 siblings predeceased him as well. He's survived by his sister, 3 children, grandsons, raised in North Scranton, and a graduate of the great Scranton Technical High School. Following graduation, Mike enlisted in the service and served us in the reserves with the Army Corps of Engineers until 1964. He loved attending local dances, and at one of them he met the young lady that would become his wife. That evening, they walked past the home where they would later live and raise their 3 children and spend the majority of their remaining days. Wow. Baptized as a Jehovah's Witness, Mike worked for Supermarket Services in Dunmore. One of the first and longest tenured employees, drove a truck, operated a forklift, did a lot. And Mike played for the company softball team. Following retirement, he stayed active, driving a school bus for the Scranton School District. Friendly, talkative, positive. The minute you meet him, you're sure to know your liking for him is bound to grow. Mike Sabatel. Charles Butts, former Asplund foreman. He loved hunting. He was from Millville. He was 94 when he passed away. After Millville High School, he joined the United States Army. Discharged in 1950. Then he was called back for the Korean War and was honorably discharged again in 1951. General foreman for Asplund Tree Expert Company. Member of the Benton VFW, the Orangeville Masonic Lodge, the Caldwell Consistory of Bloomsburg, where he was a 32nd degree Mason. He loved hunting, fishing. He belonged to the Coon Ridge Rod and Gun Club. Survived by his wife, the former Julia McBride. They were married in 1952. Also surviving him, 2 sons and their families, including 4 grandchildren to Charles, 7 great-grandchildren. He was predeceased, in addition to his parents, by 4 siblings. He was the last surviving member of his family. Charles Butts. Our great veterans this hour brought to you by Basiliga Hospitality and some of the greatest restaurants and nightclub and the greatest movie house you'll ever go to. Storm Tracker 16 forecast from meteorologist Joe Snedeker. Today, sunny and less humid. It'll be 85. Tonight, partly cloudy, 63. Thursday, sun and clouds with a chance of showers and thunderstorms, 85. Friday, 4th of July, sunny and less humid, 81. Somebody says, Bob, get T-shirts done by having all your sponsors kick in. Put the logos on the shirt somewhere. That's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea. Somebody else texted, and I agree 100%. Vickers, Larry Vickers, should be pardoned. Somebody said, LTS, Bob, thank you. Mike Sabatel was my dad's big brother. Peace. Peace to you. That's great to hear. I'm telling you, after the election, somebody said, well, I mean, you really don't have to do it. No. And then my man Mark Mayer sent me this song, the battle is over, but the war goes on. And you see it. We can't go away. We can't let them take it back. We go to a barbecue, they go to a protest. This weekend. That's what these idiots are going to be doing. And the reason I call them idiots is not because I disagree with them, but because their entire lives are based on lies. And they, for some reason, they don't care that that's the sad fact. But back to Mike Sabatel and the other veterans today and every day, that's the reason I do the show. You may think it's because of politics. No. There's a lot of important stuff to talk about, but that paying tribute to these veterans, just talking about their lives, exploring them a little bit each hour is what makes this worthwhile for me. Sponsors on the shirts. Interesting. We could be like golfers or race car drivers, right? So Gary Duncan sent me this. And this is from someone called Ayan Hirsi Ali. Islamism and Maoism. The former is fueled by absolute theocracy and tribal vengeance. The latter by class war and ideological conformity. One invokes the divine. The other pretends to be secular. Both demand submission. Now, we're not talking about Muslims. Please remember this. Islamism seeks to restore a 7th century caliphate through bombs, blood, and barbarity. Maoism seeks to flatten all hierarchies under the boot of equity, enforced through surveillance, humiliation, and fear. One dreams of paradise after death. The other promises utopia after sufficient political and social purges. But both share a core instinct. Crush the infidel, purge the impure, seize control of the narrative. Islamism brings the fire, holy rage, a fixation on martyrdom, and a visceral hatred for Jews that predates the state of Israel by centuries. Maoism brings the strategy, the long march through institutions, the cultural struggle sessions, the rewriting of history, the reframing of reality through social media and sound bites. When these ideologies converge, and they have, you get something far more dangerous than a political protest. You get a cultural movement. And this one has a clear mission. Erase not just Israel from the river to the sea, but the Jewish people from the moral map. This convergence between Maoism and Islamism is evidenced with Zohran Mamdani and the New York mayoral race. Mamdani has referred to himself as a proud Muslim, and he says his identity as a Muslim American is an integral part of his political and personal life. He also says that it forms the foundation for his fight against injustice and inequality. Well, what's next? People that disagree with you on religion? Remember what happens with these people. Remember what happens with this ideology. It doesn't work. And then when it doesn't work and you say, hey, this isn't working, they've got to slap you down before that reality spreads. It's like the Biden administration. It'll spread. People start like, wait a minute. This is stupid. This is ridiculous. You mean there's no such thing as a woman? I mean, boys and adults men could be in women's bathrooms and locker rooms and sports? Like all the insanity. I mean, do you mean the criminals who happen to be minorities are the oppressed, but the people they're killing and robbing from and beating they're also minorities, but they're not oppressed. Everything the left does has internal contradictions that prove it false. We saw it in America. We see it with clowns like this Mamdani. Absolute clowns. And we get it. And so they've got to put you down once you get it. They can't let you have your way. They can't let you have your own ideas and thoughts. The Biden administration started to stomp out expressions of dissent on the internet. Staffers calling up the people at, and by the way, this is all true. It's all been admitted to by Facebook. No, you can't print that. Yeah. And then once they can't shut you up by other means, what do they do next? They have to use the military or the police to crush you. And by the way, it's happened over and over and over again in every communist state, in every Islamist state. Interesting to put communism, called Maoism in this little essay, and Islamism together because they are the same thing. Fascinating. Thank you for that, Gary. In any event, somebody says, well, we already knew about that. Special report, Sean Combs found not guilty on most serious counts. Bob, I'm confused. You said you don't think they had enough on him. Didn't you see the voice and video of him kicking his girlfriend and sex mate? What about abuse? Yeah, but there's statute of limitations for these things. And they charge him for much more than that, as you can tell. Like, he was looking at life in prison. Now, each of the counts he was convicted of, and remember how this goes. It's the ultimate fairness of the American system. Doesn't always work out. I lived it. But you can appeal that which you were found guilty of. The government cannot appeal that which you were found not guilty of. So those two charges, 10 years each, I don't think you're going to get a judge to give him 20 years for being a scumbag. I don't think so. Well, we'll see. My friend Mark Mayer sent me a picture of the booze he's restocking at the Brick, his bar restaurant. I'm a Scotch guy, that's it. And the Scotch is not good for me either. It just isn't. All right, we have to take a break here. Bob Cordaro, WILK. Repeating a question that people keep asking, where would I put Alligator Alcatraz in the pantheon of prisons I was in, 11 total? I would put it somewhere in the middle. So I don't think these people are being tortured. American criminals are are living in worse conditions in many instances. But I promise you, I was there. We'll take a break and be back. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. Electric Avenue. Eddie Grant. This date, 1983, moved up to number 2 with his hit. Now, close second here, in addition to Conti with the Rocky theme, was Michael Jackson. Became the first artist, Murph tells us, to have 5 number 1 hits from the same album. Bad. Because Dirty Diana was number 1 on this date. The others were Bad, The Way You Make Me Feel, I Just Can't Stop Loving You, and Man in the Mirror. We're not going to have a chance to play Michael today. But because of you'll understand why when we play the song we play to wrap it up. Well, when are you starting it, Bulldog? I'll mention it. Oh, in about 20 seconds. All right, so we're going to play Jimmy Buffett. He moved into the top 10 charts at number 10. This date, 1977, with Margaritaville. We had to finish with that. You know that. Hey, this absolute clown, Chris Kelly. I got to tell you, I'm actually so astonished. He talks about this protest and doesn't ask any of the protesters. They got paid to be there, by the way. And he just lies about everything. He's a liar. He's a phony. He's a fool. And he's got a column in the newspaper which tells you the quality of their leadership. Wow. Somebody asked, are you here tomorrow? Yes, I'll be here. Trump made a deal with Vietnam. Murph had sent that in. And we'll see what that's all about. It'll be the better. Whatever deals he makes will be better than what is now. That's the fact. Max from Dixon City, we got about a minute, my man. Fire away.
Yeah. The whatever you read about who's ever texted about the combination of
it was
communism
from our guy Gary Ayan Hersey Ali.
Yeah. Okay. Have him call the show. I mean, he's spot on. That's been my theory all along.
Yep.
That these two things have merged and basically are, committing war against the United States and the free market and the freedom of religion.
Because see, freedom doesn't work for them. Freedom doesn't work for either of those ideologies. Maoism, I would call it communism, and Islamism. Even Maoism, right. You call it Marxism, whatever. But Islamism and communism, freedom is the enemy.
Yes, and the majority rules, and they out-compete because they have more babies, and they dominate once they get the numbers. That's their whole goal.
Yeah.
So with the communist side, and then the radical Islamic side, that's an enemy. That's the biggest threat.
And until Gary sent me this, you're just like you, Max. I had never seen them put together that way, and right. I'm saving this because they are the same, and they are working together. They really are.
Yeah,
scary.
I'd like to call again sometime when you got chance. But before the 4th, I mean, this is what people should honor. What we fought for on the 4th, our forefathers, and then again on the Civil War, 4th of July, Gettysburg Battle. This battle that's coming up. And we see it in Europe. It's going to be worse than both. And people
Sadly,
really need to look at the 4th because this might be our last hurrah from what they built. We're going to have to fight for it to build it back again.
Hopefully, we'll only politically, but at least that's all we're being asked to do now, is to use our common sense and vote and convince those that will actually listen of what's right and what's wrong. Yeah.
Yeah, we have a plague among us. We have a plague, and it has to be rooted out. That's all.
All right, my man.
Thank you.
Thank you, Max. Can't disagree. I mean, you look at this Chris Kelly comment, you just say, I mean, they'll just lie without any compunction. Without any compunction. There are no cuts. Dear God. And but there's never a mention, where are you getting the money from? It's insanity. Truly is. All right, well, guys, it was great being with you. You know that. Even those that we disagree with. Even those that we call dummycrats. We love you. You know that. Somebody said Eddie Grant, who we just played, originally started out with a band called The Equals back in the 60s. Okay. Good to know. But Final mention of our great veterans, brought to you by John Basiliga. Leo Azaravich, DuPont via Pittston. Michael Sabatel, Bainbridge, New York via Old Forge. Robert Griffiths, West Scranton. Richard Weibel, Stroud Township via Carbondale. Ronald Royak, Wilkes-Barre Township. And Charles Butts, Berwick, or Millville via Berwick. Love these guys. Guys, have a great afternoon. God willing, I'll see you tomorrow at 11. But for now, we've got to gavel to a close this meeting of the Club for Common Sense. Sue Henry Show next. Rob O'Donnell after that. Have a good one. Adios.